Members, I stand today to express some dissatisfaction with the results of the funding in higher education. And lest you think I stand up to throw grenades, let me state that I will continue to leave that task up to Senator Birdwell. And the reason I do is the result are not the whole story here. For a long time, I have had an interest in special items, the inequities and the inefficiencies and the displacements in higher ed funding caused by this. These are funding beside formula, which is something we need to pay a lot of attention to. And I talked a lot about it on the Finance Committee and talked about it and the things that go back, $1.2 billion in special items, some going back to 1909. And the easiest thing in the world for a chairman to do is to say we have a large system with many centers of excellence and great people and great leadership, and we've always done it this way. At least going back to 1909, the first year that Senator Whitmire was the dean. But Senator Nelson didn't say that. She said, you will work in a working group and we're going to deal with special items. She appointed Senator Kolkhorst, Senator Hinojosa, Senator Watson, Senator Larry Taylor. I asked Senator West to participate with us because of his experience and his abiding interest in special items. And I venture to say, Madam Chairman, there's probably no other single item of the budget that received the sort of scrutiny than did special items. And they're important. Those institutions are important, and the future of the young people there are important. And so we looked at every one, and we took them apart, and we dissected them, and then we all prayed. We did run after run after run, and then all prayed that Demetrio Hernandez at Legislative Budget Board would not be driving down the street and sitting of us crossing the street. It would have ended a lot of his misery, and his team did as good a job as economic people could do anywhere. And we came up with a plan to do away with special items and do what we normally do if we're going to fund something systematically and go to a formula system that addresses all items and takes out things like political influence and stuff like that, and address things like special items that never go away, startups that are continue to start up for decades, which is the definition of failure in the business world. And then what we did was we sent Senator Kolkhorst into conference to explain all this and work for this, and the House, not to their detriment, never had a clue what we were doing or why we were doing it. To introduce an absolutely new concept and say, let's change the way that we do business for billions of dollars and for the education of, 1.5 million, 2 million young Texans. And what we came up with, we should all be dissatisfied, I think is the point, because we're not done with an important job. And quite frankly, I think a good part of that is probably my responsibility. I've been chairman of higher ed for a while, and I should have asked for that select committee 2 or 3 years ago, so today that we would be talking about the system addressing special items or instructional and operating formula, we'd be already, and we're not. One of the most significant things that we'll do in the interim, I think, is this select committee. Lots of important parts of the budget, and I don't want to overinflate this one part, but it is important. Some of the best work I've seen in the 13 years I've been is the dedication of this work group to try and do things a different way and do them better. And an important part of the budget. Madam Chairman, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to go deeply into a subject that's important to the state of Texas, and thanks to the member of this working group who worked a lot of hours. Thank you.